Hi, and welcome to Take Time to Create. Today I'm going to show you how I made this dragon egg using a tin egg like this from the dollar store from around Easter time, and I made it into this dragon egg using hot glue, some gesso, the tin egg, and some acrylic paints. Stick around and I'll show you how it's done. So here is the egg I'm going to use. It's just sweet tarts egg. It had sweet tarts in there, but they are long gone now. It's just an Easter egg. I found this at the dollar store, and I thought this would be perfect. Now, the technique I'm going to use, I did see it on the Frugal Crafter on one of her YouTube videos a few days ago, and I loved this technique. And so shout out to her that I learned this technique from her, and I think it'll be perfect for the dragon egg that we're going to make. I'm going to use this brush, and it's just an Art Basics brush, and I love this brush, and it's got this silicone end to it with this little bristly part that is perfect for the texture tool. Now what you do is you take your hot glue, and you want to be careful because this is metal, but we're just going to smash on some hot glue, and you want to do this in sections, and then you just take this and you just texture it around. Just bloop, nice and textury. And we want to make this a really cool dragon egg. Now you will go through. Oh! Ow! Don't do that. Pay really close attention. Honestly, that should be a public safety announcement for what not to do when it comes to hot glue. Oh my goodness, this was ridiculous. All right. So hot glue, take your tool, smear it around, texture it up. Off we go. You will use a lot of hot glue. It will go through a few sticks, but I think it will be worth it in the end. Now before you paint it, you want to make sure it's all the way dry, that you don't have any globs left, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer for some places to dry than others, but that's okay. Just let it all do its thing, and we'll come back and let it do its thing. We will add gesso as our next layer, and then we will paint it on top of that. I really like to add gesso. You know how I feel about gesso. I love that stuff. All right. I will keep adding, and more and more. Here we go. Be really careful. This stuff is really hot. I mean, it's called hot glue for a reason. It's not cold glue. It's hot. It's hardy glue. Obviously, I've already attacked myself with the glue. It's just the way life goes. And it is metal. I'm working on a metal one, so it does make even my handle a little warm. I've got these blobs, but that's okay. They just pick right off. We'll just smooth it all out. All right. A little warm. Not too bad. A little warm on that side. Add another stick. Smear it. I'm working on a Teflon sheet so that it doesn't stick to my table, and it's just a cooking sheet, just a cooking Teflon sheet. I've never cooked on it. I don't cook, but that's okay. It's there, and it's perfect, and they wipe off so well, so they're great for crafting, and so I like to use those. I put paint on it, and sprays, and dyes, and inks, and glitter, and it's a little worse for wear, but it's still working. And if you want to look at the corner here, let me even show you this. My cat took a bite out of it. I don't know why. She thought it looked delicious. Silly kitty. Oh, cats. She's not really allowed in my craft room. There's a reason. She likes to eat everything. So it's just best for all of us if I keep her out. All right. Now this is all good and textured, and now it needs to completely cool before I go to the next step. I'm gonna add a little bit more down here. And we're going to really make this look like a really cool dragon egg. I thought it was too smooth with the just the aluminum or the tin or whatever it's made out of. I thought it was just way too smooth, and this will make it really cool looking with this texture that, ow, really don't touch it where it's still hot. Oh, I have issues, me and hot glue. Okay, all right, there we go. And once it's all cooled off, we'll be right back and we will put a layer of gesso on. Okay, this is all pretty cool now, and it's time to add some black gesso. I like to add gesso. It gives it a nice tooth, and it just coats everything in one solid color because I'm going to use some metallics on top. And I am using just this studio black gesso that I found at my local craft store, and a foam brush. And I'll just dip it in here and just paint it. And I really like how when you paint it, you got the black. Now you could use just acrylic paint, and that would work just fine. I just have the gesso. I like it. I like the way it gives me that tooth. I like the way it coats, because if any of that metal is coming through, it'll allow me to paint that metal. And it just works really well. It's a tool I really like. Like I said, if you have acrylic and you want to do that, you might need to put a couple layers, but that should work out. This isn't a heavy gesso, it's just a regular one, which is just fine, and it works great. I do have some little strings here and there, and those are okay if I grab them now. I don't want them in there later because they might pull off some of the paint. And I'm just scrubbing this into the egg. I'm just getting it all in those nooks and crannies and crevices. I really want to make sure it's all covered. And I might go, if I need to, put a second layer. And get this all covered. I'm gonna be careful. I don't think I'll use a heat tool to dry any of this because I don't want to get the glue moving again. As you heat it up, it is hot glue and it loves heat, so I think I will just leave it and let it dry on its own. My problem with an egg is it's a round thing and I really don't have anywhere to set it down. So I guess I'll just have to kind of hold it like this and do the best I can, and wherever it's resting I might have to repaint it, but that's okay. And we'll get it all. If you have any gesso left over in your little bowl, put it back in the container. It's still good. You don't want to waste that. And if you can buy your gesso with a coupon, that's even better. Sometimes local craft stores will have the gesso and they'll have a coupon at the same time, and it's pretty great. Double check for any spots that aren't covered, and my fingers are now covering up this little area, so I've got to go back in and grab them and make sure the whole egg is covered. Now it looks really cool now, if I do say so myself. So now that needs to dry completely, and I will let that dry, and it's going to take a few minutes. And then I will come back and I'm going to add a few layers. I have to just decide if I want to do it in metallics or do I want to do colored. If I want to do silver and gold or copper or rose gold, or do I want to paint it in green or purple. I just have to decide what color do I want my egg. That's a tough decision. Well, let me let this dry and we'll come back and we'll see what I decide to do. All right, now the gesso is all dried and you can really see the texture from the hot glue now that the gesso's all dry and it's a solid color. Now I'm going to take some paints, and I decided to do a purple, and so I have this Folk Art Amethyst. Oops, dropped that. A layer of the silver, and I squirted them on my fancy dancy palette here. Oh, just a paper plate. And I'm just going to take the same Art Basics brush, and I'm just going to lightly brush over. And this will just have the peaks that will still be silver, and the valleys will still be black. And we'll just gently brush over. I wanted the silver on the bottom. And I will take this, and then the purple will be on top, and then the light white, the pearl white, will be on the very tippy top. And I put a little too much there, and that's okay. I'm just dabbing off. I'm not taking a ton. I'm not globbing it on like crazy. I'm just doing a little bit at a time and smoothing it all over. All right. With the same brush, I'm not really caring if I use the same brush or not. And I'm just going to lightly put purple over the top, and I'm just doing a kind of a dry brush, the purple. And you can see the two colors. You want to see all three colors still. You don't want to make it all one solid color. If you do that, you could just dip it somewhere and bloop, be done. But this way, I'm getting all three colors going. And I have a paper towel. I went just a little bit too much, but that's okay, because you want it all a little different. Lots of textures, lots going on. And this dragon egg is going to look so cool when it's done. It doesn't take a long time to do, but mostly it's drying time with this. And let's get this side. You want to get all the sides. Look at it at different angles. Look at it in different lights. Make sure you get all of it. For the top layer, I'm actually going to let it dry just a little bit because I don't want it to blend. I want to put the top layer on and highlight, because right now I'm getting some blending going on. You can see a little bit. All right. Okay. You can see that as I bring it nice and close. All right, so now I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm going to bring on the last color, which will be, I don't remember what it's called. Pearl White, Folk Art Pearl White. Sometimes these words are hard to say. These titles, sometimes it's hard to say. It doesn't roll off your tongue very easily. Folk Art Silver Sterling, huh, and Folk Art Amethyst. All of these are metallic colors. You can see with the little diamond on the top, and I just got these at my local craft store. Love them. I use them almost all the time. I'm a big metallic fan. All right. Let me let this dry, and then we'll come back and we will just brush the tops of it with the white color. Okay, now it's all dry. Pretty dry. A little tacky, but that's okay. And I have a little bit of the white on my tray, and I'm just really getting most of it off. I'm loading my brush, and then I'm just taking off most of the paint because I just want to highlight. Just a light dry brush over the top. And that is so I just have those very tippy top. You can see that. So it's nice and shimmery. It's just the very tippy top. Now, if I were to do this again, I think I would put something in the egg to weight it down to give it a little more heft to it. A little more realistic, as real as a dragon egg ever is, but a little more realistic as in I wouldn't want it to look like it's falling, and I put too much over there, so too much white, so now I had to add a little purple. So I think I would add a little weight to it, something inside just to beef it up a little bit. I'm not sure what I would put in there, but something. You don't want it to rattle, so you don't want like rocks or something like that, because that would just rattle around and make a ruckus, but something in there. All right, that's it. That's how you paint it. All done. You don't want to really go to town and paint too much, but just a little bit, just enough. And I needed the spot here wasn't right. All right. I just wanted a little bit of other colors. All right. And you know, if you don't like it, all you can do is just, if you put another layer of gesso over and just get you back to a blank canvas, a black canvas, then you can just paint over. If you decide, oh, I really don't like the purple, that's no big deal, because you can just paint over it. And that's what I love about gesso. It gives you an opportunity to have a blank canvas again. And there we go. The egg is all painted. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the section down below. And sound off on if you've had any craft-related injuries like I had with my hot glue gun incident earlier. It's not the first or the last craft-related injury I will ever have, but sound off down below. What's happened to you during your crafty time? You can follow me on my blog at taketimetocreate.com, and you can also find me on Facebook and Instagram. All the details are in the description box down below. And as always, please subscribe and like this video. Subscribe so you get all the latest and greatest and new videos whenever they are posted. And thank you so much for your support, and thank you for watching.